And as far as yours, Noah, you should already have yours. Did you tap that button? Perfect. So here's how this space is going to go. I'm going to give you guys the history and kind of give you guys some focus questions for this particular location, and then we're going to spread out. And then that's when you're going to be unmuted on your spirit box listening in. So again, this location, every location we go to is going to be a little bit different than the next one. This is one where you guys get to spread out and work with your devices individually, and I kind of do round robins with everybody to kind of see what's going on, take lots of notes, and kind of see where we're at, and then regroup us to give you all of the answers, which leads me to all of the communication devices. This is where I start withholding information on purpose. I will not be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. I don't want you searching for specific things. I'm going to give you just enough about this ghost that's here, so that way you know who you're speaking with, but that's pretty much about it. So you'll find certain things that you're not going to know the answers to. That's what we want. So where are you? You're in a parking lot. Congrats, you made it. I told you, I take you guys to weird spaces that other ghost tours don't go to. Nobody's coming here because there's nothing to see. Just keep in mind that we do have 2 vehicles in here. When we do spread out, just stay away from the 2 vehicles. So this place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with 5 Church Restaurant and came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case you guys weren't paying attention. That's why we look for secondary clues. In the event that somebody gets the name Charles coming out of a spirit box, I'm hoping for a secondary clue so I know how to address that specific Charles. Make sense now why we do that? Good. Moving on. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you. If I don't give the gentleman that recognition, they're going to do it for me in a nasty manner through a spirit box. So I just make sure I give them the recognition. We move on to Eliza. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I said that slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from the colonial days when young ladies got married at 12 and 14. Think of today's standards of when women get married, because the husband was over double her age when they married. It's kind of creepy then, it's kind of creepy now. So I'm just going to put that out there. Moving forward. She married him because her father was over in England and he thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home to England so he can see them one last time. Well, Eliza didn't believe he was dying. She stayed put. Right here, got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that particular year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. There's no such thing. This is a true love story. There is nothing horrific about this location. It's just very haunted. So, she was correct. Dad did not die right away. And instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. When she got those seeds, no idea what to do with them. Had to learn from her servants how to keep it going because it's not always hot here. Then she learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad and told him that rice plantations were going downhill. They were going to make a killing with the indigo. And she was correct, because now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It's something absolutely unheard of for the 1700s. Now that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys showed up. So with this, all the communication devices, I'm going to give you guys a set of focus questions, like I said. A couple of caveats with this. If you're asking a question and you're not getting a direct answer, your answer may have gone to any other communication device, the audio from the cameras or the audio on my bag. That's why I love, like, this is like the perfect size group. 6 to 8 people is like the perfect size. So you never know where the answers are going to go. So if you hear something weird, just tell me what you heard. That's kind of how this goes. So we're going to start off with yours. Your device gives us like 1 to 2 syllables at a time. So you're going to be asking about the mansion because it's not here anymore. So ask what happened to it, and if we get the what, we will often get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that actually occurred. I'm kind of giving you a clue that it was indeed a tragedy. So if you go rogue with your own questions, by the way, no yes, no questions. We already kind of talked about that. Be respectful at this location specifically, and do not ask about Eliza's children. So those are the kind of 3 little rules with that one. You're going to be looking for Eliza's initials on yours, Elizabeth. So I'm going to keep you behind after everybody spreads out so I can show you how to operate that thing a little bit further. It's the only thing that needs extra operation other than mute and unmute. But Eliza's full initials are ELP. We're not looking for them in a mixed up order, in that specific order, because she's the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So the L, ironically, stands for her maiden name, and the first wife named Eliza also had a maiden name that started with the letter L, which is exactly what Hannah's going to be looking for. She's going to be asking which Eliza we're dealing with by asking for her maiden name. If you get any words that are 3 letters or more, I want to know what all of them are. Like you had Enigma, I'm going to write it down, just because it helps me learn more about that specific device. I've only had it for a year and a half.
You said something about her children forbid.
Exactly. pretty much forbidden. I'm going to tell you about the children before we leave, but here's what happens. So if you muggles who don't normally talk to this woman on a regular basis with our modern day language, you're going to unintentionally poke the bear and all activity will stop. So I've seen it, I can't tell you countless times that I've been coming to this specific location. It'll just stop, so just don't even bother asking. It's just disrespectful in her eyes. So she'll let me tell you about it. I might get something later on in the spirit box that says you shouldn't have done that or something along those lines, but it's not very often. With yours, you're going to focus on Eliza's death. So she's pretty open about talking about it. With that particular spirit box, you get a little bit more verbiage out of it than the other one that Jessica's using. How old she was when she died, how she died, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. You know what a pallbearer is? Pallbearer are the people that carry the coffin during the funeral. So it's people that love them the most. It's kind of an honor for a president to be able to do that. So who, how, where, president. Those are your four major questions. Again, if you go rogue and ask your own questions, you can do that. Just be respectful. So again, I'm going to keep Elizabeth behind with me. We're going to get Jessica unmuted. And again, I'm going to be doing round robins, like probably 2 or 3 with the whole group. You are unmuted, I can hear it. So it just takes, it's almost like an old ham radio. So it kind of takes a few seconds to warm up. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to have you guys spread out. And Elizabeth, you stick with me. Any numbers, by the way?
None.
None.
Not yet, but I haven't moved.
Okay. Well, they don't stand still either.
Oh, okay.
So, and have you, what words have you gotten, by the way?
Forbid, holiday, harmony, adolescent, whenever, boy.
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. I do like the forbid, but it's kind of vague. So we'll see to do that. I'm your biggest skeptic. So I want specific names, nouns, phone numbers, not phone numbers, but actual numbers, dates, and things like that. All right, guys, spread out, have some fun. I know Jessica's been waiting on you.
How do I turn this on?
Oh, you're not going to.
I can't.
The reason why is because there's a filter on it to try to keep the white noise from coming through. So when it comes through, and you're going to hear a voice come through, it's going to be like, hey, Jessica, hello, Reed. Like, it's going to be very, very clear. So you're only going to hear probably 25, maybe 30 terms all night long versus Hurley, who's probably going to hear a few hundred. So, but yours is the most accurate spirit box I have. If you get something out of it, it is 75% accurate to that specific space. I've been doing this a long time. But yeah, you're already recording, hopefully, and you got that record button going. Perfect. So have fun with it. I'm going to teach her a few things about how to use this little Ouija board device. So you've already probably seen it go over.
Looking for herbs and stuff.
I'll go back to it whenever you want. That's recording. I'm trying to get it to record your question. I'm trying to get it to record your.
sensitive stuff.
I wonder if they know this goes to.
The goats?
What?
The goat?
No, the people who have the lights in the parking lot.
I heard that.
Oh, yeah. Stinks over here, babe. There's a ghost right there. He's like a Persian cat.
What do we got coming out of there? Anything?
Nothing other than just like,
Okay, so that's what you can make out. So even if you think it's a radio DJ, I still want to know what it is.
I did hear it ring.
Okay.
And that's really the only thing that.
You can probably almost take that as an interpretation of like she doesn't want us here, like end it now.
That's what I was thinking.
But we're not going to do that. We're going to at least give her at least a couple of rounds so she can see, hey, we're all friendly here. And again, I'm the familiar face. So with the two cameras that we're using tonight, they're both small screens. I send both videos to YouTube, so if I'm not following up with the two gents, and I unintentionally did that. Like I was like, oh crap, it's the only two guys and they got both the cameras. But again, if I'm not following up with you guys as much, the reason for it is because they're small. I'm going to watch them on a computer screen. Yeah. You guys are going to watch them on your TV. So it's usually with your cameras, it's usually the day after when we find the kind of evidence out of that.
That's what I was telling her.
Yep. So yeah, that's kind of how this one goes. Let me just make sure you're using that record.
Damn, was she holding the water this whole? Yeah.
It landed straight up.
I think it fell.
Right.
I think it fell about 8 inches.
Charlie, what do you
It
got?
said right. And I said it
Still
landed
just
straight
good
up,
on
and
the
it said right. To,
What do you think, brother? You see that stained glass over there? But you, Huh?
Alright. Smoke. James got a pacemaker, so just trying to keep away.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Like I'm that guy that I don't give a shit. I vape all night long.
Right.
So
Appreciate it, brother.
yeah, no problem.
is there anything you want to say?
Look at that lantern on the end of the corner right there. See it? Right. It's like broken.
Yeah.
It was old as shit. It's definitely got an old Ford in it.
Is there anyone here with us?
What you doing, baby? What you doing?
Hmm?
What you doing? Oh, you asking?
Yeah. You want to ask you a question?
Yeah.
Hmm?
No. I'm recording it. I wonder how the sound comes off. So I wonder how the sound comes off. Like when he said he would preferred us to stay near each other, like how far it can be.
I think so you could hear words. No, just I mean there's like stuff coming out, but I can't make out what it is.
Okay. And this one's not easy.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the harder ones to work with. And I figured the fun part about it is you can have somebody else help you listen in.
Yeah.
I did take the word end and I did put it in the notes. There's just nothing else going on with the other devices that kind of tell me like we need to go.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of give it another minute or two just to in case something wants to pop out of there. I'll do one more little quick round robin and then I'll kind of regroup us because even Jane doesn't have any massive meetings that I expect out of this location. So it might just be a week night for these spots.
There we go. I see that, babe.
What?
I see that, babe.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to ask this
You having a good day, dude? We must smell it. Smell it. Smell it.
Your stomach?
What does it say?
Hmm? What?
Oh, it's saying what does it say?
I don't know.
Alright guys, let's frame this one in. There's a whole lot going on here. I want to put this one in. So if nothing this is probably, I hate to say like the worst I've ever seen this particular location, but it is pretty dead. Go ahead and hit the stop button. It's the same button on the back of yours, Reed. Nothing. And you're going to be looking for an 8 or above while we're inside. Okay. Just because, again, remember, parking, anything on the sidewalks, parking meters going to make it go off. Lamp posts near us are listed like 7, so you can go straight to 8. Alright. Definitely conversational. Alright, so I'm really surprised if there's no other tours down here, but if you guys are out here on the Rainbow Wednesday, this is probably the most popular ghost tour spot that we have here in Charleston. So here's how this one goes. Again, we'll kind of go through this, and again, with your cameras, you want to go one way or the other. In the event that the other tours are going to come through here at the same time we are, obviously just point your camera to the ground, but they will come out of that ivy wall over there, Noah, and then of course the way we came in, there's a little stairwell right in between that ivy wall that they can come in. So here's how this one goes. We all tell the same damn story down here. I'm just going to give you the same story with a few extra details. There's no content, you're not on the Campfire Marshmallow Ghost Tour. I'll tell the story, and then we're going to actually move everything around the corner. But this is Philadelphia Alley. It used to be called Jewelers Alley. So this is where some of the jewelers used to occur for the city of Philadelphia. So I say some of the jewelers because jewelling was illegal in the 1700s and they had to find hiding spots. So this just happened to be one of those hiding spots. So here's the story. A doctor moved down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the word brown shows up, like brown-eyed girl from one of those spirit boxes, it's not coincidental. It shows up here all the time. It's part of his name. By the way, I was going to take this location out of my route just because it is a staple for every ghost tour here. So if you've been on a ghost tour here in Charleston, you've probably heard this story already. But this guy actually follows me around the city because we will be near places of crazy ghosts for him as we move throughout the entire evening. So I just figured I'll just keep him in at his origin. That's why we're here. But anyway, I want you to keep him in mind for Rhode Island and the people who put the initials RI in that specific order. It's actually the reason why I got that device for this location. Moving on, the doctor is down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her parents. She's an attorney helping her out with all of his cash flow, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Don't get that before that. So the doctor moves down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. He's going to start medical practice down here, and he's going to be good to go, make his own cash. So, on his way into town, he had a coachman. The coachman he had set him up to be robbed and killed. With a really bad start to his stay here at Charleston, so having a bad Uber driver in today's world. Anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen to the newcomer. The person walking by was named Ralph Isis. Initially sound familiar? Or RI. So just like this doctor in Rhode Island. So we are getting the letters RI on a device like Charlie Desmond, so I thought that device to kind of verify it. I had it about 7 or 8 times last year that I've had that whenever I bring up Ralph's name. Moving on. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's a coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me and then go to 59 Church Street where you can rent a room with these friends of mine and you can stay there with me. The doctor took up on the offer and the two gentlemen became friends. One of the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he makes. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. Well, Amanda got wind of this up in Rhode Island and she's moving down so they could be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate the story. Every haunted city you will ever visit in any haunted city is going to have a cliche whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So why are we in Jewelers Alley talking about this whistling doctor? here's how this works. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So one night they go see Richard III, and they're walking home, and they're arguing over the new actress that they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. Ralph is then insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island, and they're really ugly between the two guys, and they go their separate ways. But Ralph goes to his friend at the newspaper and places an ad telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of like, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. When Doc saw that ad, he rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this, and somebody's going to die. What you keep in mind is this whole argument started over in actors. Kind of dumb stuff back in the 1700s. Anyway, the two gents come down here, back to back, took the 10 paces, they turn, Doc points his gun in the air, shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel. But Ralph has his one bullet still. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor didn't die, he was on the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later, on November 2nd, 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Two things about that last statement. It's 1786. Gunshots were back then, and a lot of different people we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor, who probably was not going to blame him. Not going to leave him out himself, but obviously he did. And everybody's going to come down here, also guest and listen to the picture. We have two cameras by this recorder running, and we're going to get a piece of audio. This is the only one that show up on one of those two devices. However, we're going to reference the experience and have had the listening part of the song, and we're going to show up on the commercial and get names and actors and certain things like that. Doctors get it all the time. They don't look at these things. They just happen. My next one check for the rest of the world is every 5 minutes. So we have 1, 5, 10, 15, 20 I'm not looking for it. What happens is we have 1 minute instead of 24 minutes. So we have to see this one. However, I'm not trying to figure out how long everybody's going to be here in town. We're going to walk all this hour. Looking for it. All the way through. Each voice recorder like the phone. Remember, every local knows this story. Anyone who wants to know about it, or up on the street, we all know this stuff is out. There's something to do here. Yes, I know it's kind of funny, so I promise, but this is that common of the story. So here's how I got to that. I've actually been to the guys here, that's why I can't take you all the way through. The alley didn't go all the way through to where we came in. The wall up there. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock in the city of Charleston. Cows, goats, and chickens were down here. This used to be called Cow Alley. This is before the was down. So those bricks down on the other side are older than the bricks we're standing on right now, because they started there and worked their way this way. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down at the end of one of those bricks with fingerprints wiped to notice. I used to take my bricks all the way through for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that brick with the handprint in it. I already told you how I feel about tombstones and going through cemeteries. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. November 26, 2020. Took my entire group of 10 down there to go show them the handprint, and they all stopped. And they huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen. Shoo them along, and let's get moving, because we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. Trying to be respectful, not realizing we were actually out of bounds for tours that time of night. So, the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical. She was on tour that night. She was about 13, 14 years old, and her dad's getting yelled at. She was all about it. She thought it was great. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays, especially Thanksgiving, because I was in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this. So you guys like to fight over cows on Thanksgiving, and I will never work another Thanksgiving in the rest of my life. You guys started. So the next day was the 28th of November. I got a hold of my partner that I had at the time. I told him what happened, trying to figure out what to do next, and he laughed at me like my daughter. He said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, it's residential. Reroute your group. So it's kind of like, well, I'm sold out again. It's Black Friday. So I told my group, I don't believe in that story. I've never had anything happen over there. I'm into vampires, not pirates. So on my own pirate story next. Turns out about spot 2. But before we left the space, somebody with a spirit box told me the paper of the name Anne. And I told them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, oh shit, we're going to get something. I took them up around the corner, told them what I didn't know about piracy. Somebody else with a spirit box was the number 300. They know the end. Now, the research. We were there November 28th, 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was on November 28th of 1720. The exact 300th anniversary of the pirate trial. So I usually get those kind of like, oh wow, that's pretty cool stuff. I was pissed off because I have a master's degree in creative writing. All of my degrees are in writing. I need like solid research to be able to provide what we're doing out here. Pirate stories were written from pirate lore. That's a problem. After 100 years of actual piracy, I bring more books on pirates to be able to verify what you guys are finding day after day. However, now we're going to get out of it. So what we're going to be doing next, we're going to be taking Reed's camera and we're going to be shoving it into the gates of the cemetery in hopes of looking for an apparition. While I'm swapping out his light and battery, which is probably about halfway through it already, not almost all the way dead. I always bring extra lights and batteries for that new camera, depending on how long it's going to last. But I want to make sure like what we can do is going to be full. Jessica, have you heard anything while you've been listening?
So I got two black, 3 car insurance, one crazy blue. I want to say kind of like Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
And that's what it sounded like. It said Reed.
So that can work in one of two ways. So that means that somebody you guys brought with you is mentioning him. Or I was just telling them that I would normally tell you a pirate story over here when we go up around the corner, but I didn't kick out of that spot. Now the Aunt Bonnie that I mentioned, her lover is named Mary Reed. So I'm not surprised that you had that over here because we're still getting lead over from her, even though I'm not investigating that particular space. It's still in proximity, but it could be something going on with him. So we don't know yet until we have some more secondary clues. And of course, I don't know how much Charlie's listening to, her spirit box right now, or what she's missed out on in real time. So hopefully we get a secondary clue to kind of verify whether it's dealing with him, whether it's like somebody you guys brought with you, or if it's going to be with our friend Ann Bonnie and her lover Mary Reed. So again, it's an interesting piece. We forget the word Reed here all the time, but again, we never had anybody named Reed here at the same time. So we'll kind of see how it goes. Words, where are we at with that?
I just got talking. I got the name Veronica.
I got Officer David.
I got full fear, running, mood, concentrate, survive, failure. Happy F word.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only seen that show up on there one other time. I'm just going to put this out here. I had a whole group of seniors. So imagine the person that I handed that to, and we're talking everybody was like over 65. So I handed over, and one of the first things that popped up was the F-bomb. I'm like, are you kidding right now? Like, so I had to make sure like I took that out, and she's like, I can't believe. I'm like, well, I didn't put it up there. So it is what it is. Do we have anything coming out
But
of
it's not just like F word. It's fucking.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bunch of Q's and G's.
Q's and G's. I got nothing like Q and G. Did you see anything crazy out of your can? Okay. So when we get up around the corner, I'll swap out Reed's battery and lights. I'll tell you what goes on at that particular cemetery. We'll get about 5 to 7 minutes worth of footage, and then want both cameras up there because this helps me learn about how that camera works. So if we're capturing something legit on his camera, I want to know what your camera did in retrospect. All the spirit boxes will be listening in once we get up and around that cemetery, so we can kind of see what's going on. But as we're going up around the corner, definitely listen. But when we stop on the ledge, so I can seat everybody down and change out the light and camera, I'll have you go to mute so I can tell everybody what goes on at that place, and then we'll get you unmuted again. So Jane, we have seen some weird little anomalies happen over there. So like we had a 9 one night and then a 12 a few weeks later. So, and I've only been going over there for like the past, we'll just say 8 to 9 weeks since I kicked out of the pirate place that I was normally taking to. So it's the only 2 times that I've ever had an EMF rating over there. So we'll see what you can capture. Okay. But yeah, Doc Lad will follow us from, just so you know, from here moving forward. We will always be near somewhere. I'll raise the motion for Doctor. So just remember when you guys are hearing things and you're like, oh, I just went to a doctor, even though we're not near the alley. Well, guess what? He's probably following us to the next spot because we're going near his house, or wherever else we're going to be going near. So yeah, cameras, go ahead and hit those stop buttons. And normally this alley is super hard to find. Sorry, back to the regular. So, long cat.
Yeah, cat looking.
So, we can't figure out what's going on with this picture because he doesn't have the text. So he sends it to Kodak. Kodak can determine and tell him that they can confirm the camera that he took it on, and if there was, he didn't alter the picture. So we have this beautiful apparition, but this apparition is said to be like one of the top 100 best apparitions ever caught. So if you basically go home and Google that, you'll find this picture in one of those, but it is said to be cursed to females. I don't always like telling this story because I primarily see females. No offense against gents, but you see the point. That's why I always tell the pirate story instead. It's their story, let them have it, but the curse is always there. He's probably going to hand over a tablet, show him the apparition. Females that handle this thing in a tablet or phone form are said to have the same symptoms that I told you about at the beginning: headache, nausea, and dizziness. Pregnant females are said to not have a good pregnancy based off the gist of the story of the dream stillborn child. So the group that you guys were supposed to tour with last night, one of them was a pregnant young lady, and she didn't even want to look at it. So I didn't even bring it out. I am going to show it to you. Go down the line. I'm going to zoom in on it so you guys can take a look at it. We're kind of waiting our turn anyway. So when we get up there, we're going to get, like I said, 5 to 7 minutes worth of footage up there. You'll have your spirit box unmuted. Obviously, we'll be watching all the other devices, doing whatever you're looking for. But when we're up there, ask whatever questions you want. So remember, this only happens around the anniversary of her death, which was back in June. When I went up there, because June 16th this year was Father's Day. I told you, I don't tour on holidays. So June 15th, I was done with that tour, and I did their data. My office is literally 1 block away. So I came down here at about 3 o'clock in the morning when I was done with their data, and I had the other version of that camera, and I'm going to try to get the apparition. I had my camera in the wrought iron gate for about a minute or so, and I hear, hey, so jingling of keys, and then somebody saying, hey at me. So I'm like, oh shit. So I pulled my camera from outside the gate, and I went back to the car and drove away. I look at the data the next day, I only had 1 minute and 7 seconds worth of footage. There's no sound on there besides my own voice. So it's kind of a hot nail. What the hell is happening? So, take that for what it's worth. Jackie's still on my show again. The reason why I named her Jackie is because I once named her Jack based off of the pirate story that I was told across the street. I was out for Jack, and then Jack showed up pregnant, so I just renamed her Jack. I think every tour guide down here calls her something different. She belongs to the circular church. So I'll go down 2 by 2 showing you this apparition and showing you about where we're waiting on our turn. So gents first, here's the apparition, the full picture that he took, but your apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave with a baby basket right next to her. Even if you zoom in closer on a computer, you can actually see the weaving of the basket a little bit more in detail. So you can see like this would be a little abnormal to him. But woman's back, praying on her own grave with the baby basket right next to her. Also keep in mind what I told you guys about George.
Your leg is red, dog. Your leg is red, dog. Yeah, this is this. I was gonna say this is your fault. Hey, you playing Scrabble over there? You got anything?
All right, we're all out of the way. Let's go get some food.
This is everything.
Married here in church. Interesting. So gents with the cameras, bring them right up to the gate. So the sign, obviously I'm going to see it better with reads, is right there in front of you. But the grave is actually way in the back. You see the cross headstone? Just to the left of that, and 1 more row back is where that apparition was found. And you can actually zoom in on yours. So right about where your thumb is now, if you go back a little bit, there's a little toggle that goes left and right.
Oh yeah?
So you can actually zoom in. So if you put your camera up, you'll be able to zoom in back there pretty good. I want you guys to also remember that that light up there to the left was actually put there on purpose by the church so that nobody came up here and tried to recreate that photograph because it causes light flares. However, the cameras that you're using, it pierces right through it. You'll be just fine. So that's the reason why that is actually there. So just so everybody knows, Carly did hear the phrase married here, and then the word church showed up on Hannah's word list. So you can kind of see where that almost looks like a full phrase, that we are at St. Philip's Church. And we're on Church Street. So,
I got the strength of humanity.
going on in there, Elizabeth?
No.
No SHH?
Mm-mm.
We've had Sue show up on that before too. Her name's not Susan, it's actually Sue. I've been corrected by her. So you might want to just do a reset. Yeah, nothing going on there.
Numbers.
Amber.
Numbers.
I know your hand's getting tired. Fuck yeah, dog. That's crazy.
I got evil men in Baltimore.
Lord Baltimore.
Not like evil men and Baltimore.
I got you. I was putting story.
VHCTLC?
What?
VHCTLC.
I know that's right.
It was very like timid voice, or timid.
Fill out anything and
They came against me.
keep them coming.
Ooh, 15.3. You got stop and stop it.
See, we're not leaving yet. You gotta give us a little bit more than that.
I got everyone is dead.
We are at a cemetery. Well, obviously.
Went to the emergency room.
Any other numbers? Did they come back again, Jane?
Nope.
The timer looked at me.
9:15.
I got wouldn't untie me. It's just like really not. Right.
Like a weird batch of letters set on the keyboard.
open the seal. This is getting like dark.
I see that. Another minute before we wrap this up. 15 is what's keeping me here, just so you guys know. Normally we would have been done already. But then she had a 15 short while.
Too much details.
Not enough details, dude.
Really? Late to the give me a name.
So,
I got monitors.
What were the other words on there? Drink, sell.
not.
Alright, here's how this one goes. Again, cameras, if you want to record something, by all means you can. But you guys already know I've been kicked out of places. This is as far as I can get you, and as close as I can to we have gotten triple digits here. Cameras, basically, if you want to do like standing still 360s going around the park, you can do that. But with yours, Reed, I'm going to have you just kind of stay focused on them so that way they can watch the video later, because again, they're not going to know what the hell's happening. Definitely no rape going on here. But yes, here's how this one goes, very quick and short. First time I came in here, only 2 people. It was in November, everybody canceled because it was cold as hell. And I was experimenting because it's November. I always wait till after Halloween. So the young lady using the spirit box, we weren't doing this whole blindfold thing yet. I told her, just tell me whatever you hear. I don't even know who we're looking for. All I know is you'll make those tourists come in here. Let's see what we get. So here's the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using Anna's word list. We had the name Tim that showed up on that word list. So behind me is a bust of Henry Timrod. He was born in 1828. Because I got hot damn. There's my ghost. Nice and easy. Now you know a little bit about him. And that's how his story goes. He's a writer. He's sick through most of his life. So he's old enough to fight in the Civil War for the Confederates, so he goes out to the battlefield. His comrades realized he was too sick to fight. They sent his ass home and said, go be the voice of the war, man. Go tell people what's going on out here. So he came home to Charleston, started writing poetry about what was happening on the battlefield. He became known as the laureate of the Confederacy. It's a big title in the writing world. He's doing pretty well for himself. Getting published in the papers and whatnot. So he has a son. His son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve. So he died 9 months later. And Black Dead Baby of the Night, because it is our last story. So again, there's always a dead kid. I'm sorry. But anyway, him and his wife Katie are mourning, and Henry is not writing as much. He has another writer friend named Paul Hamilton Haynes. He offers him his cottage in Columbia and says, get back to work, man, and let Katie mourn with her parents that were here. Just visit him. So he goes out to that cottage, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality. Modern day English means dear person with a short life. And then he coughed, and he landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, pen in hand. It's a perfect way for a writer to go, but we're here because of the blood stain. The blood stain is in the shape of a man writing at his desk. They show it one day a year on Halloween only at the Charleston Library Society where his collection is being held. So we call it the blood book, and you have to remember to go see this blood stain. However, the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you the blood stain, and then we're going to go talk to Carly as if she's the ghost. This guy can be a little timid to kind of get him to draw out. We're only going to keep them under for 10 minutes. Any more than that can be a little overstimulation. The other part of this, I want you guys to remember that Dr. Ladd also comes around all the time. Notice I did not remind them because I don't want them looking for anything for Dr. Ladd from the Whistling Alley. His house is literally right around the corner, and his code word to let me know that he's nearby is the word purple. You don't normally hear that word on the radio. So if Carly says the word purple, or it shows up on our word list or a Ouija board device, then obviously we have Dr. Ladd nearby. It's not a very common word. Here is your blood stain. So have you guys just kind of huddle around for just a quick second? That's his whole page. Behold our brief mortality, cough, cough, death. That is the blood stain that this writer left behind. So you can see why we started off with a nice, easy football player. We worked our way up to a bloody death. You're going to have a link to it. I send you guys all the links to all this shit that we find. So far, again, I would say we probably definitely ramped things up with what was going on over there. That's probably the highlight of our night so far. This is hopefully going to be a lot of fun, and Carly's going to give us a bunch of silly answers because she just has that type of personality. hopefully we talk to a ghost, but if not, hopefully we have a few good laughs. I would say we're still on the below average side of things, just so you guys have that idea. Again, I don't like to make shit up, so fingers crossed, Henry comes through for us, and we still have a chit chat. You got anything going on there?
I'm not really sure how to work this device, but I'm just looking for
The bottom row.
yeah.
Every time there's an EMF spike, like James did, it's going to drop that cursor or wherever that lands to the bottom row.
This is crazy.
Alright, here's how it's Carly, yeah, when we're done, because we're only going to do this for 10 minutes. Any more than that can be a little too much for you guys. She's going to tap you on the leg. We're done. Take everything off yourself. I will never touch you. When you get under, and again, I say go under because you're going to be blindfolded in a headphone, turn your volume up and leave it alone. You want to make sure you're not cheating, so that way you're not trying to hear my questioning. You're not going to make any sense of them anyway. Literally repeat everything you hear, including yes/no answers. You don't know what I'm asking. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. Blindfold and get started. So with yours, I'm going to take yours so I can turn it on. Have you ever done virtual reality before? Even video games? Anything?
Yeah, for like a minute.
Okay. So this isn't going to be like Jurassic Park. It just goes over your ears. Why are you trying to tie it on? You got this thing with time. Like you keep hearing the word tie, untied.
Like
over your ears.
goes over my ear.
That's it. That's good job.
So with this, you're going to see a galaxy off in the distance, just kind of like 2D. And then every once in a while, you're going to see an image show up in front of it. You're going to tell us what the image looks like. Very simple terms. She's not going to be able to hear that you're trying to talk over her. Just like two girls bench tree kind of tell her. If she's not saying much, which I don't think it's going to be the case for her, you have an image generating right now. So it looks
Hold
like
my foot, give me
kind of citadel or jail or something off in the background. That's what's going to look like what you so it's not going to be like a full 3D type of hotel. You might get 0 more images, you might not get any more, but you could also get all of it as well. We don't know. The average about your focus in here, when you get this all set up, you're going to look straight ahead, and you'll turn this dial until you can until it's not blurry anymore. Everybody can see it. Set up for you. All right. Yep. Turn that volume up. Let's go. Straight ahead, it'll line up with you.
I'm gonna start saying random stuff.
Perfect. It's 11:26. Let's do it. Henry,
California.
definitely not from California. Henry, I got 2 young ladies on the bench tonight. So if you want to start, we'll talk about whatever you want. I'm going to start asking about your job and occupation like I always do.
Lose.
Okay, do you want to try something else? Do you want to pick your own
Yes,
topic?
sir.
Pick your own topic then. Family members, work, friends,
Truth is
something specific.
predict
Specific, Henry. Be specific.
no matter where. Doing work anywhere.
Okay. Where do you work? What did you do for a living? You can show us. That's Elizabeth wearing the blue box
The
tonight.
dark is straight ahead.
You can show us what you did for a living.
Before art.
Henry. Dr. Ladd, if you're here, you can use your code word. We all know what it is.
Base.
Jane, any numbers?
Nobody. Designer.
Henry, talk about your work. What did you do for a living?
Emotional.
We're not a designer.
momentarily,
Henry,
you and free,
are you not happy that I'm here? That's a yes no question. And silence. Wow. Henry, if you'd like
turning on,
us to leave and go home, you know your code word is home.
that little breathe all together.
Henry, we're not getting a whole lot. We're looking to verify that you're here. These folks come with respect. This is how they learn about you.
Outside,
What sound are we hearing from the church right now, Henry?
came over illegally.
Wow, that was serious.
Yeah, cash.
Henry, what was the sound we just heard out of the church? That word
To
has
the start,
actually was spelled out for us, Jessica, on that device
repeat
one.
that.
Okay.
What sound did we get out of the church?
No,
Next question.
and down the world,
Elizabeth, no images. Just galaxy.
could never
Henry,
seance.
let's use the blue box. Why don't you give us an image and show us what you did for a living?
I can pitch black,
Henry, show us
never
show us the topic of the talk about tonight.
black shirt,
Where are you going?
Henry,
prevent the injury,
can you give us an image of what you did for a living? Specifically the last three.
one is blocking arrest,
Who is? Who's blocking?
time changes, just to the left,
Henry. Go to something a little bit more specific.
tonight,
Tell us what type of facial hair you had. Just want to verify that you
live today, free,
Henry.
save, never,
Dr. Ladd, are you here?
it's true,
Dr. Ladd. Whistling
I
Dr.
gave,
No images at all, Elizabeth?
my hardest, went through the door,
Henry,
I fell,
just look in the car. Get a few clues from you and we'll go on our merry way.
I could never,
Stubborn tonight?
red,
What was red?
I went,
What was red?
I'm sorry,
Yeah, outside. Jessica, no words?
I owned a business,
Okay, what type of business?
celebrate tonight,
Henry?
work hard enough,
Give us one or two images from you.
7,
Dr. Ladd, can you give us the rest of your birthday?
down tonight,
Dr. Ladd, that question
Again?
remains open.
encourage,
So Henry, back to you. Looking for an image.
want to know how,
I want Elizabeth to fall asleep in there.
messages, no way, The government.
Henry, you're being very stubborn tonight. It's not appreciated.
I feel wronged.
How?
The wind.
Still waiting for you to
Michael?
what was read. Michael shows up here a lot.
Trees?
St. Michael's Church across the street. Henry, we're running out of time.
Light.
Quickly. We're down to about 2 minutes.
Thumbs up. This is how we do this.
Yeah, you being stubborn is not how we should be doing this.
Come to fight.
I will come here and fight.
14. Free deal.
Henry. One image and we'll
Farm. Religious.
One little image. Got that one? You're looking around.
Incorporated.
Henry.
1.
Henry.
When he.
We're going to call it quits. Can you tell us good night?
Left.
Henry. Not getting us anything. Going well.
Travel.
Anything you want to say? Going twice.
The gust. By the way, Grammy. Trail. Direct light. Process.
Make sure we didn't get anything. It's so weird. We've had instances. So you have a button next to that volume. It's the power button. So I had to click it on the front of the
Bottom?
Up. Next to the button next to the volume. Click it in the opposite direction. Actually, we know what the last one was. So sometimes we've had instances where like the filter's in there for you, and then it's come up with an image, you just want to see it. That's not happened. We only had one image show up. There are letters in there. This looks almost like legit. So this is the image that was generating as I'm putting it into the headset. So to me, this doesn't mean anything. Yeah, exactly. So it's all generated by AI. There's some lettering there in the bottom right-hand corner. I'll still try to interpret it through Google Lens and see if it comes up with anything. To me, it doesn't mean anything. It's nothing. So again, I can't make this stuff up, which is why we try to do it in a controlled environment. You'll obviously have this image and any notes that I have from it, from my Google Lens piece. We didn't even get any other extra words. I mean, Jessica, did you see any words at all? 3 letters or more? Nothing? And you didn't have anything either. So the only thing that really could have stood out for anything was the word red that she said, and you guys all know the reason for that. I was trying to get more out of it, so nothing was coming. So overall,